everyone, welcome back to Bake Me Vegan. Today I have a test recipe for you guys, and it's something that I've been wanting to try out and make for a while now. My favorite food is sushi, and I used to love spicy tuna rolls, sashimi, things like that, and that was one of the hardest things for me to give up when I went vegan. So I had heard about a way you can make tuna, like raw tuna, quote unquote, out of tomatoes. And I figured I would try it out. So I did one recipe that I found on Pinterest, and I'll link that down below. And I also saw a video on Facebook of people making tuna out of tomatoes and how they're selling it, I believe, at Whole Foods. And I decided to kind of go off what I knew the ingredients were and then making my own recipe out of that. So I'll show you the process, and then after we'll do a little taste test to see if it meets the regular tuna standards. So let's get into it. First thing we want to do is blanch our tomatoes so we can get the outer skin off of them. So go ahead and bring water to a boil and add your tomatoes to the boiling water and let them boil for about a minute. You don't want to overcook them. And then once the minute is over, immediately transfer them to an ice bath. And once they are cool to the touch, you'll go ahead and pinch the skin, and the skin will come right off. And you'll repeat this process for all of your tomatoes. And once that is done, we'll go ahead and chop the tomatoes in half and use a spoon or whatever you prefer to get the seeds and the inner veins out of the tomatoes. You're going to repeat that process again for all of your tomatoes. And once you get all that done, cut them again so that they're in quarters. And now we're going to make our marinade. This particular marinade I got from Pinterest. I'll link it down below. It's 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, half a tablespoon of sriracha, half a tablespoon of sesame oil, half a teaspoon of ginger, and kelp powder, but I didn't have kelp powder, so I just used 1 sheet of seaweed and mixed that in there. Then added my tomatoes, added the lid, shook it up, and let it sit in the fridge to marinate. And now this next marinade, I kind of made up myself based on the YouTube video that I saw. I'll link it. It's a tablespoon of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a tablespoon of coconut sugar, or any sugar you prefer, 2 tablespoons of water, and I just mix that up, and again put my tomatoes in there, added the lid, and shook it up, and put that one in the refrigerator as well. I will have to say that I did marinate this tomato tuna probably a little too long. I did this maybe about 3 days ago, and I was supposed to try it the next day, but if you guys follow me on Instagram, I had an emergency root canal, so I haven't been able to chew. But today I'm finally feeling better, and I'm finally able to kind of eat more solid foods. So let's try it out. So I did let these marinate for 3 days. So as you'll see, they're kind of like a darker color. But I will say that the tuna that you can get at Whole Foods is in its marinade when you buy it. So I think the longer it sits, the better it is. So, but the other recipe that I found on Pinterest, that one said to only marinate it while you're like getting the other ingredients mixed. So we'll see how that turns out. Well, I made little nigiri sushi rolls so that you can see the texture of these. And I gotta say, this looks pretty legit. This is the first one, and this is the one that I kind of made my own recipe with. So let's go ahead and give this a try. It's honestly not too bad. The texture definitely still feels like a tomato, but I think you can get rid of that if you cook or blanch the tomatoes a little bit longer than a minute. So I would suggest maybe blanching them for 2 minutes. That would get the flesh of the tuna a little bit more to like a softer consistency. But regardless, the flavor is very light. It doesn't necessarily have a fishy taste because in this one it didn't have any seaweed or kelp in this particular recipe. So I'm interested to see what the other one is going to taste like. It's kind of crazy. Now let's try the other nigiri. And this one is a little bit darker, if you can kind of tell, compared to the other one. And this was the one that didn't have any water in it, and it had the added seaweed inside of it and the ginger and everything, so that probably adds to it. And the soy sauce isn't diluted either. All right, let's give this one a try. Again, this one does have that same sort of tomato kind of consistency to it. And I don't know if you'll actually be able to get rid of that, but it's actually very similar to tuna. And I will say that this flavor is a lot more potent with this one because it wasn't diluted with water. And then you can definitely taste the ginger in there, and actually has like a more of a fishy taste to it because it was marinated in the seaweed. But I bet if you used kelp powder instead, that would be much more flavorful that way. So what I think I'll do, since I have a lot more tomatoes left, is I'm gonna chop it up and make some spicy tuna with the remainder of the tomatoes, and I'm gonna make poke bowls and see how that is. I think these were marinated for a little too long, and they are pretty salty because of the soy sauce. Maybe dilute it a little bit with water, especially if you're going to marinate it overnight. I would say overall, I really do prefer the recipe that I got from Pinterest that's linked down below. The flavor is more well-rounded with that one, and I think with the seaweed, it gives a more tuna-like flavor. But definitely try these out for yourself. And if you have another recipe that you like, comment down below and let me know where I can try it. And if you guys want to see this again, kind of like remastered, let me know as well, because I really would not mind to do this again. I mean, that was really good. Alrighty guys, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And if you liked videos like these, please like it and comment down below if you want me to do any other kind of test recipes. If there's something that you want me to try veganizing, let me know in the comments below. And also subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell whenever you subscribe so you know and you get notified every time I do post a new video. I do want to have a schedule with my videos. I want to post, you know, kind of like the test recipes and you know, like challenges, you know, whatever those like kind of free-for-all videos on Tuesdays, and then I'll have a recipe video every Friday, and see kind of how that schedule goes. And I will be in Philadelphia next week, and I'm hoping to vlog while I'm there so you guys can kind of see like what I ate and what we did and all that stuff. And we're not only going to Philly, we're also going to New York and possibly Boston. All right, again, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, happy baking. I'll see you guys next time.